Hello. I'm not necessarily a professional mechanic. I sure do a whole lot of wrench turning on my own with regards to the family cars, the kids' Jeep here. We have a KL Cherokee 2014 Trailhawk. Specifics to removing the front bumper for the Trailhawk because we were running into some troubles. We're replacing his lower control arms. Not really the lower control arms so much as the bushings for the lower control arms. And while you're getting in there, this piece is in the way, and we need to get it out. We've already removed all of the armor underneath and everything, so we'll just assume that everybody watching this knows how to do that. These bolts here are called E-Torques. There are 3 of them that we'll need to remove, and they have 3 different sizes. I found a set online, not at any local stores really, that had all the stuff I needed in one. Otherwise you'll have to go to a couple of different places, auto parts stores, Harbor Freight, that kind of stuff, to get those E-Torques bits that you'll need. I'll give you sizes later in the description if I get so fancy. But this piece right here ends up being kind of a crux in getting this out. There's a lot to it. I've already removed the wheel well, the inner wheel well. I have my light in there so that you can kind of see what's going on. And I've already removed a bunch of bolts. They were really difficult to get to. One of the things that you'll notice here is this. I had to remove the front part of the bumper cover, all the bolts from that, and so you can get your hands up under and in there, and I'll show some still shots of that in a minute, and I'll also get up under there too and give you guys a better shot of that. Those are 17, oh no, I'm sorry, I think they're 16 millimeters. There they are on the ground right there. Not that you care that much, but I do a lot of talking, so get used to it. LOL. I also subtitle and narrate myself here. So here we go. That's the front view of the Trailhawk. A lot of people take the bumper off, which is a lot of work, and I started doing that. But if you notice down inside, I don't know if we'll be able to see it too well. Oh good, right there at that angle, right above where my fingertip is, inside the darkness, you'll see a tiny little light shining through. That's where I have taken out that bolt already. It's real difficult, but you can get to it straight through there with this. I've got a couple of long extenders, and oh yeah, here we go. Looks like it's I think it's a 16, if I'm remembering correctly. I can't really see very good on this thing. There it is, 16 millimeters. So those are 16s, and the special E-Torques bolt that I was pointing to a minute ago up here, that one I think is also an E16. Actually I didn't point to this one yet, but I just have it in there finger type for the illustrating of removing that thing. That was one of 4 that you're gonna have to remove on the front side of this, and they're 16 millimeters and an E16. But once you get it out, this thing just kind of comes out. Oh yeah, and let me not forget, so on the KL Trailhawk edition, you have the tow hooks. This is the bolt for the back side of the tow hook, and there's another bolt on the front underneath. I'll show you that in a minute. This is a 30 millimeter. That I already had one, but you're probably gonna have to go buy a 30 millimeter if you don't have one of those. That's kind of important. And on the front side, like I was saying, right here underneath here, there was another 16, I believe, 16 millimeter. I hope I'm right about that, but they should all be the same, 16s on that. Anyway, I'm gonna pause this and I'll go back to underneath the car and I'll show you some stuff under there. All right, we're back under the car now, and here we are looking at that structure, we'll call it. I don't know, I'm not like Mr. Technical. This was that E16 Torx bolt that I was talking about. I have placed the other bolts just into from the other side so you can see. As I was mentioning, you have to kind of drop the fascia, or the front part of the front bumper cover, and you can get up under here, and there you can see one of the bolt heads there, and the other one right there. You just got to get in there with a open end or a combination wrench. Hopefully you have a ratcheting style, and just as long as it takes as many turns, you got to slowly back those out. Like I said, that's an E16 Torx right there, and then the one above it is a 30 millimeter. That's just a standard, as you can see. Always use, when you're trying to do those, I always try to use 6-sided sockets and that kind of stuff. But the front bolt, the top one that I was pointing to from the hook, that's that up there next to the E16 and that giant bolt. And you might actually, now that I have the wheel cover out and I kind of checked it out, you might be able to wiggle around through the side and get to it if you don't want to go through. But I think it's easier through the hook, and I think you can kind of see that actually right up in the front there. That little red blob is the hook where you're going to try to access that bolt. This is disconnected. If you're noticing, I was going to take the bumper off. I could just reconnect that. Now I don't need it disconnected anymore. So yeah, that's that. I'm not going to give you the whole everything. Everybody knows how to take off bolts and stuff, but once this is loose and you have this loose, you might need to whack on it with a rubber mallet, and then the brace should just drop out, and you can finish taking out the lower control arms. All right, here we are back under the vehicle, and I have that brace out now. You can see it is gone. The front, actually here, look, the front bolt is right here, and that's an E-Torx. Come on, there we go. I guess that's kind of focused. That was the E16 here, and then the other ones, this bolt on the front side right here is an E20, and then the backside bolt for the control arm right here is an E18. You know, I don't know why they had to use 3 different sizes, but that's why I had to buy that whole kit instead of like one thing from the auto parts store. It turned out to cost basically the same as the one kit at the auto parts store. So instead of buying 2 kits, I got 1 kit for the same price. And while I'm mentioning it, I guess I did show it already, but I'm not really repping this at all. It was kind of handy. It was an Amazon purchase, all in one. So there you go. I'm not going to show you guys removing the control arm. We're going to try to remove and press the bushings. I've heard that is limited success, so we'll see. Take care. Sorry for the long video and all the talking. You know, that's kind of how I roll. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and peace. Maybe I'll post this. Maybe I won't.